What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is The Avenger and today for you guys, I've got some more Marvel's Wolverine for the channel. But instead of just talking gameplay, leaks and rumors, I want to go into full theory mode on this one, similar to the Spider-Man 3 videos on the channel. Every great superhero game is only as strong as its villains, and Wolverine has one of the richest rogue galleries in Marvel. So let's break down the top villains that I think would be perfect for Insomniac's first Wolverine game, and how they could fit into the story, and what they could bring to the game. So let's start with the most obvious choice for a villain, and I'm going with Sabretooth for this one. He's a classic Wolverine villain. A classic rival, if you will. Where Logan is considered controlled chaos, Sabretooth is pure animalistic rage, and their dynamic is brutal and personal, and honestly, the game needs that, and it needs him to be in it. From a gameplay perspective, Sabretooth is the perfect reoccurring boss fight. Imagine facing him multiple times across a story, each fight more savage than the last, similar to how Arkham Knight handled Deathstrike and the Arkham Knight villain himself, or how Craven tested Peter in Spider-Man 2 with the reoccurring appearance and boss fights, especially in cutscenes. Story-wise, he embodies Wolverine's greatest fear, becoming the monster he's always trying not to be. If Insomniac wants to set the tone of a dark and violent game, Sabretooth is one of the villains that they should include in the game, because I feel like that's the way to go. Next, we've got Silver Samurai. So this is a villain who not only looks incredible, but has a deep tie to Wolverine's time in Japan. His honor-driven fighting style contrasts perfectly with Logan's raw brutality. For the game, he'd bring a variety. Imagine a boss fight where you can't just slash wildly, you will actually need to parry, dodge, and use timing to get through his samurai armor. Narratively, Silver Samurai could represent Wolverine's struggle with his past, the assassin versus the man who's trying to live with honor. It would give the game that cinematic stylish edge, while still keeping it grounded in Wolverine's history, and I feel like the boss battle, again, would be very cinematic to have, and I feel like the inclusion of the Silver Samurai deserves a spot in the game. Number 3 is Omega Red, and I feel like if Insomniac really wants to test Wolverine's healing factor, this is the villain to do that. So, like, I feel like having that ability to show the healing factor, or even having him be one of the first bosses we fight to actually have a look at the healing factor, would be Omega Red. He was a Soviet experiment that kind of went wrong. Omega Red is a brutal powerhouse. He's a tank who drains life energy, making him a nightmare for Wolverine. Gameplay wise, this could lead to be an insane boss fight with insane boss mechanics. Logan's health constantly draining, forcing you to play aggressively. It's a way to make the fight feel high stakes without needing dozens of enemies on the screen. Story-wise, Omega Red taps into Wolverine's Weapon X themes, governments using mutants as weapons. He'd be a terrifying mid-game antagonist who sets the tone that this isn't just a street-level brawler, these are monsters in a way. In spot number 4, I've got Lady Deathstrike on the list. She's essentially Wolverine's mirror, enhanced with cybernetic's razor-sharp claws, and just as relentless as Logan, their clashes are fast, brutal, and personal. For gameplay, she would test Wolverine's agility, while Omega Red is slow and tanky. Deathstrike is lightning fast, forcing you to really master dodges and combos, and it'll be a good way to get that feel in the game. In terms of story, she ties perfectly into the Weapon X program as well. Having her in the game helps build out the theme of Wolverine's past haunting him, and shows how many lives were destroyed by the same experiments that made him who he is. Finally, the big one. Now, hear me out. Mr. Sinister. He might not be the obvious first pick, but he's perfect for trying Wolverine into a larger Marvel gaming universe. Sinister is obsessed with mutant genetics, and who better to hunt than Wolverine? He wouldn't just be a boss fight, he'd be the mastermind behind it, pulling all the strings, experimenting on mutants, maybe even creating enemies like Omega Red for Wolverine to face. And if Insomniac really wants to tease future X-Men games, Sinister is the perfect villain to do it. He sets up the stage for something much bigger than just a Wolverine solo story. And here's where the fun begins in a way. If Insomniac is thinking long term, these villains could also tie into expansions or sequels. Sabretooth as the main rival, Omega Red as the brutal mid-game monster, Silver Samurai for cinematic flair, Lady Deathstrike for personal history, and Mr. Sinister for pulling the strings in the background. Together, that lineup could make the Wolverine game his first outing not just memorable, but a foundation for a whole Marvel mutant saga in games. Similar to the Spider-Man series. You have Kingpin setting up, and then you have, like, at the Spider-Man 1, you've got Otto pulling the strings throughout the entire game, and you'll think your main fight is actually with Mr. Negative, in this case, Sabretooth, but in reality, it's actually Mr. Sinister. So that's my pitch for Wolverine's perfect villains. Sabretooth, Silver Samurai, Omega Red, Lady Deathstrike, and Mr. Sinister. Obviously, I think there'd be either a lot more villains in the game, or at least I kind of hope so, but I feel like these would be, at least my version and my pitch, the main villains that we go up against. Each one would test Wolverine in different ways, physically, emotionally, and morally. And honestly, if Insomniac nails even half of these, this game could end up being one of the greatest Marvel games ever made. But I want to know what you guys think. Who should be the main villain of Marvel's Wolverine? Do you want a grounded first story with Sabretooth and a Weapon X? Or should Insomniac go big with Mr. Sinister right away? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more Marvel's Wolverine theories and breakdowns. This is the Avenger signing off.